All right, what's up, guys? It's the Performance Academy podcast, episode seven.
Seven.
That's what's up. Definitely been one more than 2 weeks, but that's all right. We're just pumping them out, pumping them out. My co-host,
Josh, that's me.
that's what's up too. All right, and we're back. So man, what's been going on? Let me think. Well, first we'll start with our fitness. You wanna go first? You go first.
You go first. Talk about your triathlon.
All right. So last time we were here, I don't remember what we talked about, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't canceled at that point, right?
No, it wasn't.
So it got canceled. COVID. Fuck Newsom. Fuck Garcetti. Especially fuck him because it's in LA County and Venice. So I have a feeling he had something to do with that, shutting it down. It's supposed to be October 25th. And I'm not too mad about it because I was kind of expecting it. Kind of the way things were trending is like Orange County was kind of opening back up. LA County wasn't as much. So it's whatever. I trained. I learned about a month out. So I was like, at this point, I've trained for the last 3 months for this. I'm gonna do it. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I feel like anyone would do. Maybe not everyone, but people that I was thinking the people that motivate me, like the Goggins, the Cameron Haynes, the Jocko Willink or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't give a fuck whether or not it was legit for a thing or
You know
not.
what Jocko would say?
Good.
Yeah.
Good it got canceled.
Good.
Because now, honestly, it makes it a little bit harder on me.
Yeah.
I was kind of banking on just the adrenaline of the competition. I haven't competed in a long time. I was, competing against other people, the adrenaline. From a more of a strategy standpoint, I was hoping during the bike I'd be able to draft off some people and kind of cycle in and out so I wouldn't have to be working the whole time. Obviously, the less I have to work and still keeping up a good pace is ideal for me, right? So it's gonna.
I mean, you could always draft off some people in the riverbed in between,
No.
some,
There's
some weekend warriors just pulling behind them and start drafting.
No.
What's going on?
They're not gonna be going fast enough. So it's unfortunate in that aspect, but whatever. It's no big deal. I'm still shooting for my 3 hours. I didn't get my bike in either.
No.
Which
That's crazy.
COVID too. I was supposed to get it at the end of September, and now it is October 8th as of the day that we're recording this, and I'm doing it Sunday. I don't know if I said that already. It was supposed to be October 25th, but I'm just doing it 2 weeks earlier because I peaked. I'm peaking training. I'm kind of sick of it at this point of doing the swimming, the biking, the running. I'm kind of over it. I want to move on to some new fun stuff. It got rescheduled to May, I believe, of next year. So when that comes back around, I might do a legit one. But for right now, I'm just doing it by myself, and no bike. So that kind of sucks. It's whatever. It's not a huge deal. It's the same one I've been training with. But it would have been nice to have a little bit better bike. Obviously, it's not the equipment that's gonna make or break it, but it definitely is lighter, better group set, better tires, more aerodynamic. So it would have helped a little bit, but it's not a huge deal. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the swim, 1,500 meters down at Horny Corner, the bay there, and then I'm gonna hop on my bike, ride over the San Gabriel, go up and down, back home, and then just do a loop around my house, 6.2, and then that's that. Yeah. I'm just looking forward to training after that because, like I said, I'm kind of burnt out on this particular kind of training. It's been fun. It's been really enjoyable. Learned lots of new stuff and really pushed it like physiologically. I've never been in this good of cardiovascular shape. Yeah, so it's interesting, but ready to move on to these
I know.
things.
Considering I remember a couple months ago you said you don't do cardio at all. Remember that?
No, I mean, yeah, like at the beginning of quarantine, I was like, let me just fuck around, run a little bit, mix it up with because I was doing a lot more like athletic kind of training, I guess, like GPP stuff, just muscular endurance, power, a little bit of everything. You could say like undulate kind of training style, but it was pretty unstructured. And I was like, oh, let me do some running too. And I legit just normally I do like lap around my block, probably like a couple miles, maybe not even 2 miles, and I was having to stop and slow down and walk my cardio was so piss poor. And then it took another couple months or so before I got the idea to do the triathlon training. And the way it just ramped up and I got such good cardio so fast, it was like crazy.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So I know when I scheduled it for like 4 months of training this time. If I do the one in May, I'm probably gonna do more like 2 weeks, or sorry, 2 weeks, 2 months, a little bit shorter. Just because I can dial it in better and I know what I need to work on, and you know,
Hopefully you can just maintain like that baseline conditioning.
Yeah, that's another thing too, because I had to kind of get the base cardiovascular base before I could really work from something. So I'll hopefully have that at that point. I'm not gonna let my cardio slip that much. I plan to do some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
him doing jiu-jitsu
with Josh.
Yeah,
we're shooting for Wednesdays, I think. So that will help my cardio, and then eventually I will get my own bike, and I'm gonna try and keep up with the cycling every once in a while. But I'm gonna put the stop on the running, because ultimately I don't think that's the best way to improve your cardio unless you are doing a running event. So I'm gonna stop the running up until I do the legit triathlon, and then swimming I might throw in here or there, but it's tough.
Yeah,
I don't like to do as much as cycling, and I think that's the reason why I'm getting kind of burnt out on it, is I don't like running or swimming really. I only like cycling, and so like 2/3 of it kind of sucks. Not sucks, but it isn't as enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Pretty excited, a little nervous, but it should be fun.
That's what's up.
And you?
I think I'm like I don't know. I'm around 5 or 6 weeks into like my new training. Like I think maybe week 7. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the volume, like my body can tolerate it now between all like the running, swimming, lifting, and jujitsu. I mean, it can tolerate it, but still, like I notice it. It's still get beat up pretty good. But I can do a lot more now than I could have in the first few weeks. And everything's kind of going well. It's just like I try to structure my weeks, so like my hardest trainings in the beginning, and kind of taper down a little bit, and then preferably have Saturday and Sunday kind of off. But with the amount of training like I want to do in the week, I might have to do something light on Saturday just so I can like taper down a little bit more, and spread it out and help with recovery. And still, I'm gonna need Sundays completely off. But I'm noticing too that like so I'm trying to goal is swimming 3 days a week right now. Might have to go up to 4 at some point later on down the road, but I probably won't be for a while. But the goal is 3, and I'm consistently getting 2. But I'm finding that the swimming is really helping, kind of like with recovery, because it's not like I'm doing like really high intensity with my swimming right now. It's more so technique and like.
Yeah, plus it's low impact on your body.
Yeah, exactly. So like I usually do that like say like after I lift or after jiu-jitsu, because I like my jiu-jitsu class is like 6 in the morning, so I get that done, beat up, and then I usually just try to like eat, get some carbs back in, and then I usually have like a lifting day after that as well. So, but I'm just noticing that like my resting heart rate's coming down a lot. I was telling Zach earlier. My watch tells me I'm like in the mid 50s right now, and I went to the doctor's last week to get something checked up on, and they said I was at 51. So the training's definitely working.
I'm not to brag, but I'm at 41. So
yeah, it's see, I'm trying to get down even more. But yeah, just everything's starting to feel a lot better. Like it's not such a pain. Like jiu-jitsu's feeling better too. I'm feeling more like because I took a long break from it. I'm feeling more comfortable in the water too. That's just about putting time in. Because like I don't really like swimming per se or whatnot, and like but I'm just putting time in and it's starting to feel a lot better. The stroke I'm working on, the combat side strokes, feeling like I'm actually doing it now. I definitely have a strong side and a weak side, but just putting the reps in. What else is there? Let's see.
You got a burp, or maybe not. JK. It's like,
but yeah, that's the only thing. It's just like I'm trying to recoveries. That's kind of the name of the game for me, and trying to get in enough calories to. I'm actually trying to put on a few more pounds if I can, because it'll help. But yeah, I think yesterday I had 2 workouts and I was supposed to eat 4,020 calories, so I had to drink a lot of them because I couldn't eat that much food. So I just eat to get by.
Like 4,020 or 4,200?
4,020.
Oh, 20. Okay.
Yeah. But all my stuff's doing pretty well. My interval runs, my quarter mile, intervals. Right now I'm doing 5 quarter-mile intervals with a. It takes me about now. Yesterday, 2 days ago I did it. It was about minute 30 per quarter mile, and then I take a 3-minute rest because that's about 2 times. 2 times the work interval or the work rate.
Yeah,
yeah.
Work the rest.
Yeah, work to rest ratio. And so like that time's coming down. I was at 140 about a few weeks ago when I was doing that, so that's coming down.
So that's that like oxidative system kind of.
And I'm feeling better. Like I'm noticing it while I'm running. Like I can go faster and it feels better. And then I check the time to like actually see what the time was, and it was like 10 seconds faster. But like while I'm running, like I'm feeling better doing it as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then so I'm just also trying to. After that, try to stretch a little bit because I'm always, that's a big problem I have is being flexibility and whatnot. So I try to do a little bit of stretching and whatnot, but
big stretching guy.
yeah, trying to at least. And then the jiu-jitsu helps a lot too. Like that's kind of like that's not really an aerobic exercise. That's more kind of like kind of interval training. And
yeah,
because like you work hard and then you get to like a position, you kind of hold it, and then you fight hard, and then you.
Well, there's lots of different things going on.
There's a lot.
Because there's explosion.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like you have to exert yourself really hard, but then like you said, it's more interval.
Yeah. So it helps a lot, but like that's also like a very like taxing on my body too.
For sure.
So like this week I only did 2 days a week of jiu-jitsu, one more tomorrow. But that's very taxing. So the only thing that's kind of like I don't like is it's hard to keep up my strength. Like my relative strength is still good, for like my body weight and like the amount of like endurance training I'm doing. But like I'm noticing it's hard to like keep up with like the numbers I was doing beforehand when I was just doing like lifting for the most part, And that's just because like that whole like conversion of muscle fiber types too.
I'm so scared when I go back.
Yeah. Because it's a legitimate thing,
Yeah, 100%.
And it's kind of sucks because like it's part of it's my ego, because like I'm a kinesiology personal trainer, like people know that like I lift and whatnot too, but like it's not like compared to like people who just lift, like I'm not doing anything impressive, like I have a good program and but like I'm training for something different, and I liked pushing those numbers and having fun with it, like a lot of people do, but like it's just not happening now. Like I'm fighting to hold my strength.
So that's the problem with I feel like social media nowadays in fitness is it's all about the physique and what you look like and how you're just portrayal. But there's more to fitness than just physique. Your body composition. There's maximal strength. There's power. There's cardiovascular, aerobic endurance. There's flexibility and mobility, and there's all these different components to fitness. But we forget all those and we just focus on physique and being as big as you can.
Yeah.
And it's just like it just gets boring after a while,
Yeah.
Seeing same like gigantic, bodybuilder guy after another on Instagram, like this is how you do a bench press or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you're optimizing your body to something else.
Yeah, so I just gotta know like my goal is different, which I do. That's just like part of me like kind of like doing that too, Like I just have to realize my goals are different right now. Like I'm lifting to maintain the muscle mass that I have, and also for injury prevention. Those are like really I think those are the two main
joints
reasons.
Strong.
Yeah, that's really it.
I'm surprised I haven't done any lifting in like probably about a month, a little bit over a month, and my joints are still feeling really good, which is good.
Yeah.
Because that's really like when I was lifting during the program, that's the only reason I was lifting was just like for joint health. So yeah. Anything else?
No.
Don't get your hair on me. I'm allergic to you.
My cat's making an appearance.
What else there? Oh yeah. I'm going through the same thing. Obviously, probably a little bit more intense just because mine's just so hard endurance and like. You got calisthenics and other stuff kind of going on.
Yeah.
But I've lost so much weight and so much definition in my arms and my shoulders and my chest and whatnot. It's like, damn, bro, this is insane. But yeah, like you said, it's just like you have this goal and it doesn't really matter what I look like right now. 'Cause I'm pretty shredded, which is cool. Not shredded, but like lean.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm looking forward to the training going into this.
I mean, we're both overall more athletic now than beforehand.
I wouldn't even say I'm very athletic right now. Like, if I had to do like a long jump and a vert and like a sprint.
Well, I mean, you're doing a triathlon. Like that's pretty athletic,
It's what I noticed is it's like the same kind of thing when I was deep in the hypertrophy training, but just on like the opposite end of it.
Spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like you're super optimized towards this one particular thing, which is going long distances.
True.
So I don't feel very athletic, honestly. I don't. When you optimize so much to a particular thing, you lose all those others. Like I don't feel very powerful at all. Like I don't know if you saw my I've recorded these videos. I did some agility drills for my Instagram page, and it was just like cone drills or whatever.
Yeah, I saw some of them.
Yeah, and while I was doing it, I just felt so slow. I was just like, "What in the world?"
Yeah.
But it's just like you said, the muscle fiber change from type 2 more type 2s to type 1s, which are slow twitch and less fatigable, and agility drills are fast and explosive, you know. And then it was funny because I met up with Daniel. Actually, I think I just ran into him at Starbucks, and we just sat and talked for a little bit. And he like just told me, he's like, "You look like you're going slow during those." I was like, "Damn." that's I was like, ah, damn.
Yeah, good luck when you start lifting again. Because after the marathon, dude, like after your triathlon, dude, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
I'm looking forward to it though. Getting back to being the kettlebell kid.
Your ego's not gonna.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah. I'm just looking to get back into that GPP stuff. Like I'm gonna still do some cardio here and there, do some jiu-jitsu training. I'm gonna do some kettlebells and just compound movements. I'm not gonna dive straight back into the bodybuilding stuff. I just want to get that. I want to be athletic again, like the kind of training I was doing at the beginning of quarantine, but more structured. Because at that time I was just kind of doing whatever, just trying to get it done. Because at the time I was just like real depressed and just kind of going through the motions. But now I'm really like ready to go and excited and kind of have a goal. At that time I didn't.
Yeah, I feel like what I'm doing is like a little bit more like be adequate at pretty much everything, and with a slight bias towards endurance.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Whereas yours is more pure endurance.
Just all endurance.
Yeah, mine's just like a slight bias.
Yeah.
Or a bit of a bias towards endurance, but you need to be generally decent at
these waffles, dude? You want a waffle, dude?
No, I'm good. Told you I got no appetite.
That's a bummer, huh? Can't relate.
I know. I saw you pull up with 2 boxes, and I was like, "Damn, this boy came to eat, huh?"
Came to eat. Yeah. So, anything to add with that with the training?
No. You know, I do want to add though when we get to the current events later on. Do you see the Cuomo dumbbell?
Oh yeah. Let me write that down so we don't forget.
Yeah.
I remember that. I think they were talking about
they were on Joe Rogan, dude.
The Cameron Haynes podcast, no?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I know. Wasn't it with Tim Dillon or something? What's that fool's name?
Tim Dillon.
Was it Tim?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Because they're talking about Italians or whatever. Yeah, that's right. But I have the Cameron Haynes one in here too. I want to talk about. Let me write that down though. Dumbbell. All right, yeah, we'll get to the current events in a second. But first, damn, you good? Hopefully it doesn't pick out very loud. That's all right, whatever.
Yeah, my cat's yelling up a storm over here.
All right, so we haven't really done a topic in the day because we haven't been preparing and we just kind of been just swinging it. But today we have a topic.
We do?
Yeah, we talked about it, remember?
Yeah.
The Jeff Nippard video.
Yeah.
So Jeff Nippard, we're both pretty good fans of him. I think you put me onto him.
I did.
I don't watch him quite as much, but a video he put out maybe about a week ago or so was on how hard should you train, which is it's a big topic in the fitness industry, and it seems like he kind of touches on it quite frequently. And there's the old school kind of thought of just go hard and just put it all out there and just beat your body up, and then there's the maybe like the more new school thought of more scientific,
modulating
intensity. And more scientific and like, well, study says this and you should do that and this, that, and the other.
RPE, RIR, stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So there's these 2 different kind of theories and thoughts on how to train. And what Nippard did was really cool is he talked to 5 different people of differing backgrounds. He's got Mike Rizzutello, the GOAT. So we like what he talks about, and
that's my father.
Yeah. And we'll go over exactly what they said. I have some notes here on what they said in a second, but we have Israel, and then the Mountain Dog. What is his real name?
John Meadows.
Couldn't think of it.
John Meadows, a beast ass dude. I like him. Yeah,
so he talked to him, and then he talked to Steffi Cohen, one of my favorites, powerlifting legend. as like 20 something record holders. She has like the heaviest squat at like 123 body weight. She lifted like 500 pounds or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane.
So Steffi Cohen, and then Dr. Helms, who I don't know quite as well, but
He's cool. I don't watch much of his stuff, but I like him as well.
you've watched his videos.
He's good stuff. Yeah. Good
Okay. That was the first time I listened to him. Yeah, he's a doctor in, I believe it was exercise physiology or something like that.
Yeah, I mean he's in the field.
He's pretty jacked too. And then Greg Knuckles, I believe is how you pronounce his last name.
Yep.
A power lifter, and also
Big time researcher.
Yeah, he's big in the research, and he had his degree in, again, something kinesiology related. I can't remember exactly. So 5 really, I think these are all doctors. No, Mountain Dog is not.
No, he's not. I think he's got his master's on. Maybe I don't know. I think he has some sort of formal education. I'm not sure.
I think we talked about this before. I don't know. I think we looked it up and we couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But for sure 4 of them at least are doctors. John Meadows, I'm not sure.
He might not have anything.
But who cares? Whatever.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. So first we'll go over Isertel. We've talked about him in the past because we like him a lot. But how hard should you train is the question. So these are just some notes that I picked up on. Is you shouldn't train so hard that in your next training session you can't make gains. So only pushing it as hard as you can, because recovery is important. A lot of people don't consider recovery. And then depends on where you are in the mesocycle, which is real important too, because a lot of people just kind of doing the same training over and over and over, and they don't have a cycle to it. They're just doing the same kind of training throughout the whole year, and you're not ever deloading or peaking. You're just kind of maintaining the same volume and whatnot throughout the year. So he said during the start of the mesocycle, it's going to be less hard and lower volume, which makes sense because you're ramping it up to then at the end of the mesocycle, very hard training and higher volumes. And then he talks about deload, which I think he was the only one that mentioned a deload, which is interesting. And then if you can't justify it, don't do it. That was another point I thought was interesting.
Like in terms of what?
In like exercise selection, or like say pushing out
that having a reason why you're doing what
yeah,
you're doing.
Yeah, which a lot of people don't.
Yeah, whenever I talk about training people, I know you did too, like into such a deep dive and like his like philosophy behind training that when I'm explaining like programs and like workouts and whatnot, like most of like my ideas are just like kind of like his philosophy towards training, just kind of like reinterpreted, or just like my work, like because it makes sense. Like to me, it really resonated. Like you want to do like, you don't want to do like something
reps in reserve.
Yeah, you don't want to do like kill yourself on the first workout of the mesocycle or whatnot. Like you want to get like the minimum you have to do to get a stimulus. So it has to be challenging enough that you get a stimulus for the muscle to adapt. That way that the next time you come in, you can like challenge the muscles again, and also not kill yourself. So you have like you said, a good workout the next time, because you don't want to hinder your performance on the next workout. So absolutely. Just like to me, it just inherently makes sense. Like that's not saying training easy, and like this, I feel like this is like his message is for people like who have training experience, or people who just want to learn more. Because like I don't know if you heard of what's the doctor Greg Doucette?
Yeah. He commented. I was gonna bring him up
because he's always like saying, no, like you gotta train harder than last time, all this stuff, train harder than last time. Yeah. And I think most people could benefit from that. So like when I see most people in the gym, they're very casual and lackluster, and like they just need to push harder. We'll talk
about that more when we come up to Steffi. But yeah,
okay. But yeah, so like I think that like as far as like people who like are serious about training, the people who are serious about training and have experience, like I think like Mike Isertel's information is like some of the best out there.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I need to add anything. We've talked about Isertel in the past, so we kind of know what his theory on training is. So to kind of sum it up, how hard should you train? Not that hard at the beginning of the mesocycle, and very hard at the end of the mesocycle, and then deload, and then do it again.
Enough to elicit a stimulus for adaptation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then we'll go next to Meadows. His theory is a little bit different. He says the more advanced you are, the harder you have to go. So when you're a beginner, you really shouldn't be doing super high volumes or super high intensity. He said mainly focus on form and proper movement patterns. And then as you advance and he says beginners anywhere like roughly 1-2 years, then intermediate, I can't remember, I didn't write exactly, but like 3 to 4, and you can kind of steadily increase, maybe do some more complex stuff like drop sets and supersets and whatnot. And then when you get to advanced, there's no just like working on form and whatnot. You need to push it really hard. And he says the three main things that you really need to focus on when you're advanced training is activation, mechanical tension, and exhausting the muscle fibers. He said, if you do those three things, you're going to grow no matter what. That's the three things that muscles need. So that's an interesting concept. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, it sounds.
I kind of summed it up. That's not exactly what you said, but just to kind of simplify
it's a simplified. I feel like his method is like a simplified, like old school way of bodybuilding. That's like, but like still has like some of like the new school like ideas of like according to research, like the activation and then like mechanical tension. Like those are like the stuff
time over tension.
Yeah, the stuff that we know is like critical for hypertrophy. You know? So like if you see his workouts and like he just seems kind of like an old school bodybuilder, but he's obviously studied it as well. Like, he's not like a meathead, like we are not sure on his like formal education and whatnot, but like whether or not he has formal education, like the guy's definitely done his research, talked to people who know their stuff, like so. It's simplified.
Walk the walk too.
Yeah, for a lot of people who like aren't really like into like all like the science behind it necessarily. Like he's really good for the casual audience, I think, because like 100%. He kind of it's just enough of that. It's just
doesn't get lost in the weeds.
Yeah, you don't get lost in all the terminology and whatnot. He gives you just enough and a game plan to kind of follow, because that stuff's all important. Activation, mind-muscle connection, exhausting the muscle fibers. So.
Yeah, I mean he's right. Those two things are very important. Very important. The interesting thing is he said, and we learn about this in school is beginners they don't require as much to what's the word, progress.
Yeah.
Because when you go from nothing to something, that any something is gonna make you improve significantly more, right? And then as you advance, those gains become harder and harder because you're pushing the limit more and more, unless you're
the
doing
law of diminishing returns or something.
Yeah. Unless you're you're using drugs to kind of
that's a big thing too.
Override
when
that.
You're enhanced.
Yeah, which he talks about, and those kind of push those limits. But besides that, you're not just have to push harder. And so he says the main thing he says to work on is just a few different exercises that work for you, and just stick to those and just push them harder and harder and harder and get those three things that we talked about. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think there's times to kind of take it back, and he didn't really talk about that. He didn't talk about like mesocycles or training cycles. So I wonder if he's just always pushing it really hard, as someone that's advanced like him, or if he takes times off, but he didn't really acknowledge that.
Well, I've noticed when I watch his YouTube videos from time to time, like he doesn't like. I don't think he sets up like his workouts the same as say like Mike Israetel would, where like Israetel like every like it seems like Israetel is saying like every Monday you're gonna do these same exercises and you're gonna try to beat your reps and weight from week to week. Sure. Like when I watched like Meadows, and I don't know because it's just one-off videos he's making, but like he's like, all right, so today we're gonna go in and we're gonna do this. It's a chest day. This is what we're gonna try out today. Yeah. Like you just kind of
like a little less organized.
Yeah, a little less organized. Like it's not necessarily like the same exercises or like the same techniques. Like he's like, all right, we're just gonna like I think I forget what he does. He usually goes in there and does like his big mover exercise, like a big weight exercise. He does something else, and then he does like an exercise usually like to lengthen the muscle. He says at the end to get like a good pump.
That makes sense. Yeah, because you want to do your compound movements.
Yeah, but it's like it's you. Like from what I noticed, like he focuses on doing like those exercises, but like from week to week, like I think it's not like gonna be like the same exercises. Like it's not
switches up exercise a lot.
Yeah. But so it seems like a little bit more like kind of like I said, kind of like old school bodybuilding. Like, oh, let's do this today.
Sure.
No, you good. I can grab something, but yeah, you're right. But yeah, so that's what I noticed from him.
Okay. So yeah, the question again: how hard should you train? If you're a beginner, not very hard. And then the more advanced you get, harder you have to get that same response. Okay, next one's Steffi Cohen. I love her. If I could find I think she's Venezuelan. If I can find a jacked Venezuelan chick like her with the eyebrow tattoo, hit me up. Cause yeah, I'm down with that. Anyways, she's 20 something, like 27, 28 time world record holder. So she really pushes the limits, and she kind of says that. She's like, you have to be obsessive about it. Is the main thing I really got from it. She says she doesn't go into the gym thinking what's the least I can do.
Yeah, I like when she's talking about that.
Which is good, because I feel like a lot of people, especially when I go to teach Group X, I could tell people that are just kind of, because usually when I do those like group exercise workouts, I do AMRAP, like timed ones. AMRAP stands for as many reps as possible, if you're not familiar, and you could it's as hard as you want to make it, right?
Yeah.
You could cruise through it and be fine, or you could push it every single work interval and go really hard. So
I think she mentioned it though, and it's important to have the distinction whether you're training for health or like performance.
yeah, so I was about to bring that up. Well, yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, she says going to failure is an integral part of strength training, and which is interesting. So she says how hard she trains. She's trained the hardest. And she says specificity is very important. She's a powerlifter, so training that what she talks about is this CNS training, that putting those heavy loads on your body, so your CNS, your skeletal system, it all gets used to that compression and that and being able to push that weight. But yeah, then at the end she kind of puts it as a caveat: if you're just training for health and just trying to get healthier, you don't have to worry about that as much. If you're really trying to push the limits and get as strong as you can, get as powerful as you can, get as big as you can, you're gonna have to be obsessive about it. And I would agree with that. It made me think of I think she actually kind of said a variation of it, but it made me think of the Goggins thing. Like, most people stop at 40%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She said a variation of that, like 50% or something, and 100% that's true. Most people just kind of, whatever it is, they bitch out. They just
one of the things she mentioned that like stood out to me, and she said like more or less something like, if you wanted to do something great, like you can't be casual about it. Like, it's gonna take like intense work to get there. You know?
100%.
Yeah, but one other thing that to just kind of give balance to what I was saying about like Israel, about like doing like the least you can for like about stimulus, blah blah blah. And she says like what you said, like don't train, or like you have to train. You don't want to be saying like how little you can train, or like what's the least. But like, like it's not so much that you should go into the gym saying like what's the least amount I can do, but you should go in and saying like what's the proper amount that I should do today to set myself up well for like down the line as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, I think that's kind of like the balance of the two. Because you don't want to say like what's the least amount I do that I can get the stimulus, blah blah blah. Because then you don't want to train too light, but you want to say like what's the right amount I can do today that'll set me up better in my program for the weeks to days and weeks to come.
Is that
like it's kind of like the balance of the two? Because that's why I say like Israel, I think it's better for like those more advanced people, because they understand that like, okay, yes, I'm still be pushing hard, but I'm not gonna be like to someone else who's a casual, like they're gonna be pushing hard. It looks like hard, but they know they're not going to failure that.
Yeah.
So
I remember a long time ago I heard Israel only use the amount of weight that you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little bit different. It's like the other side of the coin, where Steffi's saying, what is she trying to say? I guess she's just trying to say you can't just do the amount that you need to. Well, and also it's two different kinds of training, because Israel looks at it more from like the hypertrophy side, and then Steffi Cohen, she's obviously a powerlifter, so she's going more like the maximum strength side. So it's two different kind of different training styles for different objectives. Yeah. So I forgot what my point was, but
I just think they're not as far out, like those like different like schools of thought. They're not as far out as like people like think they are, because like Israel's training is still intense, but like the primary driver is kind of volume. I feel like
accumulation.
Yeah, accumulation of volume.
Where hers, she said, it's a lot. Probably doing maybe maximum 5 reps. A lot of times, because strength again. But she said to work really intense during those times. But also she said, you wouldn't deny having an accumulation phase where you're working more on volume and lighter loads is important. When you're maybe more like the off season or like pre-season, I guess, powerlifting doesn't have an exact like off season, pre-season, like established sports. But like, say you have a meet coming up, you have that accumulation phase and then the building up of your main lifts up to that. Um, so yeah, hopefully that made sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Um, I think that's it for Steffi. Again, she's great. Love it. Dr. Helms. So for me, I, I felt like he echoed the most of like Israel. Um, he's just like not accumulating too much strain to the point that you can't recover for the next workout. And another thing is like an RPE of 6 or higher to grow, where yeah, if you're just not working hard enough, it's back to like that 40% thing. If you're stopping at 40%, that you're not gonna have any kind of growth that you want. Um,
And that's pretty constant with like most I hear from most people. Like I hear like that 5 like reps in reserve is like the furthest out you want to be.
yeah,
Anything less than that is or anything more than that is probably not good enough. And like 2 is kind of like the sweet spot, for a while. But yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, he just uses that 6 RPE. I hear some people say 5 RIR, but like that's pretty constant.
yeah.
It's like right around.
I never really thought about that, but like RPE and RIR are kind of like inverses.
Yeah, they are.
Where like if you have like a 10 RPE, that means you have 0 reps in reserve.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it like
Jeff
that.
Nippard like drew a little chart in the video he
Yeah,
did. It was like that.
yeah. That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
I never thought of them as like inverses like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have on Dr. Helms, but I liked
He has
him.
good stuff.
Yeah.
I like his stuff.
And then last one's Greg Nichols. Knuckles, my bad. Again, this is more of a powerlifting gentleman. It was funny. He had his more broken down into sets, how hard you go during the sets versus the session in total. And so for oh geez, I should have did better notes.
I can't remember what he was saying off the top of my head too much, but I know he has good stuff too.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I should probably bring it up. But he broke it into sets versus the whole session, and then he broke it in further from hypertrophy to strength. And I'll talk about hypertrophy versus strength.
the different like because you push it harder if you're training for strength, and like if you're training for hypertrophy and like volume, like you're definitely pushing the volume for the primary driver of hypertrophy.
Yeah. So yeah, hypertrophy push closer to. He says push closer to failure, like a 8 RPE. Is what he says. And for exercises that are more complex, if technical breakdown is an issue, say like a squat or a deadlift, obviously if you have technical breakdown during that, it's a little bit more not great. You should maybe like cut a set versus maybe like a row or a bicep curl. You'll probably find you can do a little cheaty set or a rep versus strength. Grinding it out is cool, where you're like 0 reps in reserve, maybe 1 reps in reserve, and then but also having low stress sets like 3+ reps in reserve if you're working on strength. She says to practice the skills. So I wonder if that's throughout the whole mesocycle or just at the beginning.
I mean, like I don't really do powerlifting, but I've heard like people who are focusing on like strength training and whatnot per se, like kind of makes sense. Beginning of the week, that's when you're doing your heavier pushing it like higher intensities to failure days, and then as you're accumulating fatigue later in the week, you're doing less intensity, more technical work.
I wonder if like a power lifter such as himself would do like multiple like squat based workouts in a week, or just do like one heavy like grinder sets like he says, where you like 0 to 1 reps in reserve, and then later in the work just maybe do more accessory work, like work on the quads and the primary muscles, but just maybe doing like a leg extension or maybe sissy squats or something like that, as opposed to like a heavy barbell back squat. I don't know, but for the session 15. Oh, okay, gotcha. But so compared to the other power lifter that we have kind of on here, his differs a little bit, where he's like sometimes you want those really intense sets, and then sometimes you want less stressful sets like 3+ reps in reserve, as opposed to Steffi, where she's like, if you're in that training zone, you're pushing it hard, like however long your mesocycle is. Like she said, 4, 6, 8 weeks, whatever it is. So that's interesting. But for the session, he said you want to be fatigued but not exhausted, which is like, I don't know, that's pretty standard, like pretty general. So that's it for all our people. Anything to add on that?
No, I just that they're not. I don't think any of them are like any of them conflict with each other too much. Like they're just kind of all have like their own different guidelines. But
they vary a little bit.
Yeah.
But
more or less, it stays. It's just, you can listen to any one of them, and your training will improve. I think.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last gentleman we'll go over is Greg Doucette. Is that how you pronounce it? Doucette?
Yeah,
Doucette?
Something like that.
He wasn't in the video, but I think he was kind of upset that he wasn't.
Well, that's because he's always trolling Jeff Nippard.
Yeah. He said in the comment section, he said he was mad that he was not asked to do it. And then he said that he can't wait to make a reply video, which he might have actually put that out by now.
Yeah,
because it was like about a week ago.
I'm probably gonna have to check it.
Damn it! I should have looked and double checked that. But in the comment section, he said he agreed the most with Steffi on training theory, if you will, and he's like that push it hard kind of guy, right? Which is kind of what Steffi was saying. Like during your accumulation phase, you might probably not going quite as intense, but I hate that kid. I don't like him.
Oh, him.
Yeah, he puts out a lot of videos.
Oh, this is it, right? This is the.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should watch that later, and
I'm gonna watch it after this.
Get back to you guys on that. Yeah. What was I saying? Damn.
He was saying mostly along the lines with Steffi Cohen.
Yeah. Because she said like during accumulation phase, you're maybe probably not quite as intense, but during that mesocycle where you're trying to peak, you're pushing it real hard. Which I don't know him super well, but from what I do, he's kind of that ilk, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, how hard should you train, Josh?
Well, it definitely is harder than last time. That's still true, right?
What do you mean?
Harder than last time.
Oh, every session even build upon itself.
Even though Greg Doucette likes calling out Jeff Nippard and Mike Israetel for their whatever, like their protocol is still harder than last time because they're still adding sets.
100%. But there's times that you take it back a notch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Greg Doucette knows that, but I think like a lot of what he does is just to get clicks and troll and have fun.
He seems like
because he's got his masters and like when you listen to him talk, he's like, yeah, you need to take a deload, blah, blah blah. Like he says all that, but then he just goes off on these like kind of entertaining tangents, kind of like Alex Jones almost. Like I think he's really just
he's a social media fitness person. So you need to have like kind of like a personality, like an angle.
Yeah. So I think Doucette agrees more with those guys than he lets on. He's just kind of doing this thing,
Yeah.
He needs like the internet needs a bad guy type almost, or the ones to go after him.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, because he just says like some inflammatory shit sometimes, about Jeff Nippard or his girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
So
I still love her name. Was it Buttermore?
Some shit like that.
Something.
Yeah.
Great name.
But yeah, it's so yeah. I mean, even his stuff is good too. Like most people, like the casuals, like. If you tell them they need to train harder than last time, like that's probably a good message for them too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really just about having a structured plan, being intentional with your training, and then training harder than last time too. However, which way you do that, having an intentional plan with specific goals for whatever reason, training harder than last time, and then resting once you push it to failure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Of these 5 people, I probably agree the most with Israetel and Steffi. Yeah. They're both saying the same kind of thing, I think, but Steffi doesn't work. She's kind of coming from more of a powerlifting background, and then Israetel is coming more from a hypertrophy background. You have to change it slightly. But I agree, most people don't work very hard, and what Steffi's saying. And Israetel, with starting off slow at the beginning of the mesocycle, and then finishing hard at the end of the mesocycle, I think is very important. Those 2 concepts, probably the most. All right, that's it for our topic. We'll move on to just some like current events and whatnot. Where should we start?
We do Cuomo.
Well, first, before I actually get current events, I just want to say I got my new LB certified fitness shirts, so that's pretty cool. Business is booming, as they say. No, I was kidding. I got a good chunk of them. They were pretty cheap. It was cool. So I'm giving out to all my clients. If anyone out there is listening to this podcast, anyone, just let me know. I'll
If
send
anyone is listening,
I will
let us know.
Yeah, that too. But also, if you're listening, let me know if you want a shirt too. I'll I'll hook that up.
I'll find you.
I will find you.
I will come to you.
Yeah, just working. It's honestly already working out pretty good. Actually, just this morning, both myself and my client, we were over at Hartwell Park and we were training and we were wearing our shirts or whatever. And then this lady, because up and down Hartwell, there's a ton of people like walking, their dogs running, cycling or whatever. And there's this lady that comes by quite frequently. And today she stopped and just said, "Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, do you have a card?" Which I have cards too, businessman. And just gave her my card because she said her, I think, mother-in-law had knee replacement surgery or something and needed to get moving or whatever. I was like, bet, hit me up. So hopefully she does. But just like you're just wearing the shirt and you're doing your thing. People are like, hey, let's give it a try. So that's pretty cool. Got the shirts. Next, one last thing before current events is I don't think I talked about this last time. I got the inertia wave. You saw that?
Yeah.
Have you seen
I
videos on it?
But yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
What do you think of it? Do you know much about it?
I don't know. It seems like a Battle Ropes 2.0.
Yeah, but it's better.
That's why I said 2.0, dog. That's
Yeah.
the updated model.
Sure. Yeah. That's the whole concept. That's kind of how they sell it. It's so hard. It's so hard. The concept is, so battle ropes, they're cool, but I never really thought about it. There's kind of a couple problems. One is usually they're really heavy, so like for a lighter person, it just becomes so hard to even like lift it and like slap it down. Just have bad form. They're just like rolling all over the place. They're shrugging their shoulders, and then like they're not whipping it properly. For someone a little bit bigger or better conditioning, it's all right. But then number two is when you whip it, all the energy kind of dissipates into the ground, and you just kind of lose it. Versus the inertia wave, the whole its namesake is that inertia, that energy you're producing, it retains in the rubber bands. So when you're whatever kind of wave pattern you're doing, there's multiple different waves. All that energy is requiring your superficial core muscles to stabilize.
Muscles?
Muscles, sorry. Can't talk. Muscles to stabilize. And it's really cool. Plus, as someone myself, I'm a mobile trainer now. I gotta move stuff around. Battle ropes are kind of a bitch to move. They're, if you ever wrap them up and like put them in a little circle thing like that, they're pretty heavy. And they're kind of bulky and not great to move around. So it's it's just two rubber bands basically. So it's pretty sick, and it gasses you so quick. Like just doing it for like 45 seconds, a minute, like full speed. You're using so many muscle groups. You're gassed like immediately. So it's super good for conditioning, metabolic conditioning. Big fan. I can't wait to use it more personally. Again, as soon as I'm done with this triathlon, yeah. One of my clients, I had him do it, and the next day, well, it was 2 days later, I saw him again, and he said his core was still like sore, like beat up, just from using it. So it's pretty wild. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Anyways, that's it there. All right, next current event. Mr. Brett Contreras, I saw your comment on that.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Brett Contreras, the glute guy, based down in San Diego, California, the glute lab. He just posted maybe about a week ago that he was leaving. He was leaving California. Another one bites the dust.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of here. I read his his comment. He seemed real upset about it. He moved here. He said he moved a lot of his family to San Diego, and now just because all the restrictions on business due to COVID in California, it's just not viable for him anymore, I
Well, yeah,
guess.
he was coming after California and like low key what he was saying, like all the taxes that they're coming,
Yeah, taxes too.
and then
Yeah,
like the disdain for law enforcement as well.
yeah,
Like he was
yeah,
saying like I just can't be part of this anymore. Like that's pretty, for
yeah.
like someone like that to leave, like that's pretty big.
And yeah, I mean, it just echoes on so many other people that I know that have left. I think of Ben Shapiro. I think of Joe Rogan. I think of Joey Diaz. Well, he doesn't. I think it's mainly just misses his family. I don't think it's as big as the other problems. Um, who else? I can't think. Theo Vaughn.
Oh, he leave California?
Sorta. He's not hasn't officially left, but he's living a lot in Nashville.
Mm.
They can do comedy there, so he does comedy there.
But it's kind of like the same thing what's going on in New York. New York's having a problem with like all like the rich leaving New York.
Yeah, Elon Musk, right? He's left.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're making such restrictions on business. That's unfortunate. So he's moving to Las Vegas. He said he was gonna write like an ebook or something, which will be cool. And he's gonna make the Glute Lab 2.0 better version in Vegas eventually. He had some other plans. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but like you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, like I said, another one bites the dust.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. All right, next we can do the Cuomo dumbbell. So what do you think? Is it real or not?
100% fake.
Right? It was a 100-pound dumbbell. The way he was holding it and kind of just moving, like just the pressing, he might be able to do that for sure. But the way he was kind of moving it around, it was just like, that looked super sus.
Yesterday, before I went to bed, just was surfing around YouTube, I just saw like this random video from this page. I don't know if you heard of like More Plates, More Dates, it's called.
No.
But this guy just like, he was just calling it out, like saying like, how could anyone believe this is real? And then he showed a clip of like this jacked ass, like supposedly famous, maybe in the 90s or 2000s, like bodybuilder curling 100-pound dumbbells, and like just seeing like how much he was like kind of like struggling, like he was curling them, but like he was like it was really rough for him. And if you watch Cuomo do it, he's like hammer curling them like super easy.
Yeah.
And it's like I didn't even need to watch that clip to like see like the first time when I saw it on Joe Rogan's podcast to like see him moving. I was like, that is not.
Joe thought it was real.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, it makes you question a lot. Like, I don't know if he just fucked up that day or what, but like is he super high or what? Or is it his Spotify handlers telling him you can't go after CNN or something? Like, what is it?
I doubt that. I think he was just, I don't know. Because he was kind of doing like a comparison to like, you said like I could do something that was kind of around that weight.
Did they say like a clean press or some shit?
Yeah, I think he did, which is a clean and press is so much different than a hammer curl or a shoulder press.
Yeah.
I could maybe see him possibly doing a shoulder press, and he was kind of doing a half rep. I could kind of maybe see that.
But the way he was moving, it's like it wasn't like strenuous at all.
Right? And then also the hammer curls. Like, I bet most people out there have never even lifted a 100-pound dumbbell.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
It's extremely heavy.
Yeah.
It's 100 pounds. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like it's challenging just to kind of like I borrowed the 100-pound dumbbell from the Y. My fucking nose is so itchy. I don't know why. Too much coke. I borrowed the 100-pound dumbbell from the Y at the beginning of quarantine, and I was using it, and even just to get it up into like a goblet squat position to like the goblet position to do a squat, it's like getting it up is like not easy.
Yeah. I wonder what Cuomo says. Like, did he just like? Cause like
Yeah,
I thought it. Huh?
Did he acknowledge it?
I don't know. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, but like I thought it was because it says his name on it too. Like if I was like,
that too.
Maybe he just got it as a prop and fun. And was like, oh yeah, like this. Like he wasn't taking it seriously himself. And like that, I could believe. But if he actually like thought like if he was like, oh yeah, like look at this, like I got. Like, if he was serious about it, then like that's ridiculous.
I forgot about that. Yeah, his name was on it. So like if it was just like a standard like UMax or I don't know whatever really name brand dumbbell, maybe it would be more believable. But it has his name on it, so that means he had it probably custom made. So then you could have if you made it yourself or you had it ordered, you could literally make it just like 20 pounds and say 100. And so it's like That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
that's not real 100 pounds.
100% not. I would have to agree. That's it there. Next is the Cameron Haynes podcast on the JRE, which did you listen to that one?
I might listen to a clip or two. That's it.
Okay. Damn, I wish I couldn't find the girl's name. Let me try and look it up on Instagram real quick. But yeah, they talked about a lot of stuff like training to go hunt or whatever. But the two people he's trained with recently, Courtney Dillwater, you know her, right?
I think I saw her on his Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, she's the like super endurance ultra marathon runner lady. What's that big ass trail? It's like hundreds of miles long.
I don't know.
Damn, I wish I did better research for this. This is
I mean,
unfortunate.
like the only like ultra race I know is like the Moab 240 or whatever.
No, it's like a trail. Damn it. Dang nabbit. One second. Hang tight with us here. It'll probably be somewhere in his Insta feed. But anyways, he went and trained with Courtney Dillwater. It was either before or after she did the giant ass trail, but she's just insane. She was on the JRE one time like a few years ago. Her diet is like complete shit. She eats like nachos and like Skittles and stuff, and like runs like hundreds of miles, and like wins big races, and she did the trail. I should have done better research, but it was like hundreds of miles, and the record was, I believe, 9 days or 8 days, and she wanted to beat it by a whole day. And she had like a crew with her, like 5 people out there running with her, and she ultimately ended up getting so hypoxic because it was at altitude, I believe. She ended up getting so hypoxic that she ended up having to stop the race. Well, it wasn't really a race. It was more, I guess a race. She was just kind of racing the world record time. She had to end up ending the race. So your blood saturation is supposed to be like around 100%, like high 90s at least, 95 to 100 oxygen saturation in your blood. And then when it drops down to like low 90s, like high 80s, it starts to become a problem. And she was like in the 70s of oxygen saturation. And they said if she didn't get to the hospital and get on a ventilator, or not a ventilator, but like just O2 to just pump oxygen in there, she could have died. Basically, it just essentially just choked to death essentially because she was hypoxic, right? So you're just not getting enough oxygen to your brain.
Yeah.
So you just have a ischemic stroke and just fall over. So I was like, Jesus Christ. And okay, so the
physiology is crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it so interesting?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
wild.
I suck at it, but it's interesting.
No, I'd say you're much better than the average person.
The average person I'm better at, but put me in the classroom and I'm like, SpongeBob.
No, but the reason I bring this up is he was talking about like pain, basically, like your threshold for pain, and he was explaining like that kind of pain where it's like over. Yeah, she was trying to do it over a week, so it's kind of like this mild kind of pain for a prolonged period of time, versus I believe it's Emma Coburn. Yeah. Here we go. Emma Coburn. She's the world silver in 2019, world champion 2017, Olympic bronze in 2016 for the steeplechase, which is this. Do you know what the steeplechase is? You know at the track, like some tracks they'll have that like divot with the thing there, with the hurdle to jump over, and then that divot that comes down.
Yeah.
And they fill it up with water.
Yeah,
That's the steeplechase where they jump over that shit.
Yeah.
So she's like one of the best in the world at the steeplechase, and I believe it's 3,000 meters. I can't remember the exact distance, but it's shorter, right? Or no, I think it's a mile, but or somewhere around there. But it's a shorter race, right? And I guess he went and did a run with her. It was a little bit shorter distance because she doesn't do that ultra marathon stuff. But he kind of just like talked to her about that kind of pain, and she said that her mentality when she goes through is that she just pushes it. You know when you're sprinting and it just like fucking sucks and just it burns. She was like, I'm like, how do you? He asked that, like, how do you get past that? He's like, and she's like, mentally, I just know that it's gonna take this long. I think it's like she does it in like 8 or 9 minutes. She's like, I know it's just gonna take this long and it's gonna suck for that amount of time, and then once I'm done, I'm just done, and it's fine. I'll be okay. Versus Courtney Dauwalter, where it's for multiple days, not getting a lot of sleep really, and that's just like that dull kind of. You're at like just a real easy pace, like a jog basically. But it's just how do you get past that pain? I can't remember exactly what she said. Fuck. But the differences in the mentality of trying to really push performance is interesting.
Yeah, depending on what, because you can't use that. It's only going to last this long when you're running for days on end.
Right, right.
At a slow
pace.
Pace.
I wish I could remember.
Because it's not like you can speed up to get it done quicker. Like
no,
you shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I remember. I think that's exactly what she said. She was just like, "This is like, it's just gonna kind of keep sucking, and it's not gonna be that bad, but I'm just gonna keep pushing." I'm like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff that would mentally just. I couldn't handle that.
Yeah, that's the stuff you find though when you do stuff like a triathlon or a marathon though. You have those points where you're like,
but not even a triathlon isn't even that. It's like I'm trying to go for 3 hours. Even if I don't get 3 hours, it's gonna be maybe a little bit longer than that. That's for like days.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously an extreme, but
I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was interesting with my race coming up. Is just like the mentality going into it and how to deal with that. But anyways, I'm trying to think if there was anything else in that podcast. I don't think so. It's just insane how they could be like 6-7 miles out and they just have to put like 100 pounds of meat on their back and just like walk.
Yeah, I know.
That's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah, that's intense.
I don't know how I can do that.
Yeah.
That would be my like last thing to complete like my Joe Roganisms is like get into hunting.
It's DMT, dude.
Oh yeah, DMT. I gotta do that too.
But we do gotta go elk hunting with the bow.
Yeah.
Bow hunting.
That's not something you can kind of just start doing though,
Elk hunting?
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Yeah, but I mean like
I need to be in my 30s probably.
You need to learn how to like shoot a bow first.
Yeah.
Which is gonna take years.
I'll be out there just like shooting fools off the castle and shit.
Off the castle?
Yeah.
You gotta learn. Yeah, you gotta learn how to shoot a bow, and then learn how to like survive outside, and then like find a good place to go.
And then how to find bears.
And then how to find
how to find elk.
Yeah,
how to find bears.
He goes bear hunting too,
how to
right?
avoid bears. Yeah, I think so.
Whatever you're trying to shoot, like learn how to track it. It's a big commitment.
Yeah,
but he does that shit like multiple times a year.
Yeah.
For many years. That was one of the things he talked about was his like longevity in the game, if you will, is just the shape that he's in, where it doesn't affect his decision making as much, as opposed to someone that's not quite as in shape. Then you're gonna make shittier decisions, which then ultimately decreases your chances probably of getting the animal that you want, opposed to being in real good shape and then making the proper decisions and putting yourself in the best position possible. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I think that's it in the Cameron Haynes. I should probably let you know what I want to talk about so you can watch these things. That's all right. Okay, we're like a little over a minute. One last thing I want to talk about is Ian Smith. He's a gym owner in New Jersey, and Belmore, I think is how you pronounce it. This dude, I love him. You probably like him too.
Yeah, he's yeah.
You know him?
The guy who didn't close down his gym?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you follow him?
He's on Fox News all the time.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just follow his Instagram. So he just fucking hates Governor Murphy. He's always talking shit to him. And he's like, every once in a while he posts this picture of like a paper that says like, last time I checked it was 50,000 free COVID visits And then over this whole time they fined him over $288,000 for staying open. So that, I mean, how insane is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the fact that it's real is it's insane. 'Cause, like that's like laughable. Like who the fuck are these guys? You know,
Who
like,
the
who the fuck
fuck?
is the government? You know, like, who
Yeah,
the fuck are you?
do it. Who the
No, I just,
who the fuck is this guy? I'll try my best. Who the fuck is this guy?
But yeah, I don't know where the government's getting like governor, whatever the fuck his name is. It should be
Murphy.
Newsom because Newsom's an idiot too. But Murphy, yeah, they're both kumquats. Like where the fuck they get off at? You know, like
yeah. Where do you? You don't have no right to do that.
yeah,
You have no right to fine someone for your made up rules.
yeah, they just made some shit up.
It's fucking insane.
Like fuck you.
And ultimately, I keep bringing this up and people forget about it. But the reason this whole quarantine thing started was to flatten the curve. When was the last time you heard about flatten the curve,
I know,
bro?
14 days is what it takes.
Oh my goodness, I don't even want to get on a whole COVID tangent right now, but you're it's obviously turned into this like personal vendetta against him, where they just keep trying to fine him and like make an example out of him. But it's
ego.
like it's a huge ego thing where you have this power. You're like, we're gonna shut everyone down, and then like the COVID, you know, they never said the quarantine was gonna make the COVID go away, right? It probably never will. It'll always be kind of a thing around that people are gonna get. But what was my point? The whole quarantine thing. Yeah, it was. What the fuck was I saying? I don't even know.
Well, just the fact that like we've like whatever, yeah, the curve got flattened. Like the guy closed down initially for like that amount of time. I think he even closed down longer than 14 days. And then like when the governor kept saying like, oh, we're gonna keep extending. He's like, yo, fuck this. Like,
yeah, you're trying to.
You're abusing your power.
Yeah, and you're. Yeah, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Power is once you get the power, you don't want to release it.
Yeah.
And then you're fucking all these businesses for no fault of their own, and so many people have gone out of business. Yeah, hopefully the Lakewood YMCA will, but that's yet to be seen. And you're finding them, trying to it's insane. And a big thing he talks about is like I think he tweets them, but he reposts them on his Instagram. It's just being a man and like this bitch ass mentality of like hide in your house and like follow rules and do the whole mask thing and like whatever. That's bitch shit.
Yeah.
And so many men nowadays are just fucking bitches.
Facts.
Are just fucking bitches, you know? Like you talk to someone and you're just like, you're a bitch, bro. You're a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
You're so weak. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's afraid to like express their opinion, and the big thing he talks about is competing against other guys, and a lot of guys just don't have that, and that's a big reason why I want to do this triathlon, is to compete against other people, and just whole masculinity thing has just disappeared. Like everyone's just turned into little bitches that
it's like the war on masculinity or the war on men.
Yeah,
like,
and it's
whole like toxic masculinity.
And then whenever I talk about not wearing a mask or whatever, people are just like you're just what I mean.
They say you're selfish or something.
Yeah, it's like you're putting other people at risk or whatever. It's like no, they're putting themselves in risk. I didn't do anything to them. You're the one that did it. You're the one that's fat and pre-hypertensive and you have bad knees because you're overweight.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do that to you. You did it. And you're not taking responsibility for it. You're not being a man.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just had to go on that rant real quick because I really appreciate what he's saying, and I agree with it. And it's just like everyone's just fucking bitches nowadays. That's all those politicians are.
Yeah.
Guys that just wouldn't dare say a thing to you in person, but since they got into this position somehow, they're doing all this sneaky shit.
Yeah.
Fucking people that actually do something for a living.
Yeah. People who work for a living.
So fuck them.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jesus Christ, I just went out a huge rant there.
I like it.
Gotta fucking breathe.
I like it.
Anyways, all right. I have a client in like 20 minutes, and we've done an hour and 10 minutes, so that's pretty good.
That is. Yeah.
We had a topic. That's pretty solid.
I know.
Maybe next time we'll talk about what's his face's response. Yeah, I think that's it, dude. Just don't be bitches, all right?
Don't be a bitch.
Fucking take responsibility, do some shit.
Extreme ownership.
Extreme ownership.
Jocko.
Haynes, Goggins. I'm just gonna be thinking about all that shit while I'm doing my triathlon this Sunday. I'm fucking getting 3 hours. Let's do it. All right. This has been the Performance Academy podcast with Zach and Josh. We'll see you guys next time.
Deuces.